RNG. The question is, can they do it today? Personally, as an EU fan, I believe that they can.
But the nameplates are on. This is SK Telecom T1. They were winning world championships when G2 were failing promotion to the EU LCS at the time. So this is where Faker, Khan, the big names like Mata, earn their bacon, because this is a must-win best of one to join Team Liquid in the final.
And the question will be answered, has the gap finally closed? If G2 win this, I say it has. Let's catch up with the draft. This is a pivot, different to what we've seen from previous games. TK, Nico, and Jace banned away by SK Telecom. Akali, Rise, and Silas, the response from G2. So a very quick Jarvan locked in for Clid.
You would imagine that the Galio increases in priority for G2, and they could very well put some focus on the Rek'Sai as well. We've seen that in the early game, it packs a powerful punch, and it was Jankos' most played champion during the playoffs of the LEC. So G2 going to make that pivot coming into Game 5.
Gankable lanes have been all the talk of MSI recently, so finding CC to back up Rek'Sai or Jarvan is very important. Braum ripped away in recent games from SKT. Would be a very normal pick. Would it be Varus Braum as a duo?
I'm wondering if the Kalista comes out here for Teddy, one of his best performing champions for him during this year, and so far he's yet to die on the champion.
And his comfort might be shaken a bit after being involved in probably the big pivotal turning point of Game 4, with his teleport onto mid lane turret leading to eventual Baron that came through for SKT. But it's a little bit bold when there's not a Tahm Kench lane in sight to take the Kalista into. So Varus Braum for safety is the SKT choice.
There's the pike cover coming out from G2. Oh, they lock it in! Oh, and we have no idea where the pike is going. It could be mid, it could be top.
And once again, shout out to Countdown, where the discussion was, who is the best pike on G2? We'll find out after this game.
Remember, Galio could go mid lane. It's a possibility.
That's
here.
true.
And Caps is, of course, the self-proclaimed best pike player on the team. Had a chance to meet up with G2 when they were in Korea, and the biggest flare point question to get under their skin was to ask the squad, who's the best ex-champion?
Yeah.
Because everybody had an opinion, and Cap said he played all of them the best. So let's wait and see what actually shakes out.
Well, with the Hecarim ban, this does suggest that the pike right now is looking to be a top lane pick. G2 want to create some chaos, and in Game 5, this is how they're going to do it. Fiora being taken away as well, very heavily suggesting that this pike will be going into the top lane. Have SKT prepared? Do they have an answer for this pike? Look, the Morgana ban coming out as well. They're saying, what if they try to do fill, or funnel rather? We want to deny that option.
Small answer and small thing to consider is that SKT have not banned Pyke this series, so theoretically that should come with some semblance of an answer, but this Pyke could go anywhere, and I'm sure that's reigning supreme. You want to continue that flexibility. This Syndra could be bot lane
I think
well.
that Syndra's in the bot lane. I genuinely believe that Syndra is in the bot lane for Perks. In Game 5, when the chips are down and when you need to bring something big out, why not put Perks back on the mid lane role that he managed to challenge Faker with back in 2017?
Oh, let's see if this works out. SK Telecom now have to start piecing together what this composition is going to look like. Cannon will be locked in for Khan in the top lane, and Faker is potentially and confirming a Game 5 LeBlanc. For anybody that is a long-time viewer, will remember Morgana into Faker's LeBlanc many, many moons ago, and the response now is Lissandra.
And that is definitely going to be into the LeBlanc. That part is under no review. That means Perks will most likely be on the bot lane Syndra. Again, there is the flexibilities there, but the roles starting to come together. The top lane Pyke is back. SKT, very, very standard stuff, but with some good agency for the LeBlanc to roam around. G2 want this to be a chaos game through and through.
I feel like the SKT are so happy with their draft. They have such a strong 2v2 jungle with the LeBlanc and the Jarvan. They should have priority up towards the top side of the map. And I'll be honest, I don't know how Syndra Galio does against Varus
No,
Braum.
what? Call yourself an analyst.
So we'll have to see how that one plays out, but they should have a lot of options in the early game. And as we said multiple times, the early game has decided how these games play out. So I feel like even with all this craziness coming out from G2, SKT on paper look like to be in the favorable position.
And here's my respect point to G2. if both teams come away from a draft, G2 and their opponent, and they both feel good about it, I'm more worried about G2 feeling good about their draft because their ceiling and the chaos and unpredictability it heralds is terrifying.
I agree. The G2 variance between their best games and their worst games substantially larger than G2's. At the beginning of this tournament, we started putting teams into buckets. The methodical controlled teams and the explosive chaotic ones. These two drafts are the epitome of a bucket stylization. And we get to see which one reigns supreme and advances to the MSI Finals.
Let's bash the buckets, boys, as we jump into Game 5 between SKT and G2. We got a Pyke in the top lane. We have Fakers LeBlanc. What better way to round out this series?
And of course, we know how Kobe feels about buckets, so he's rolling over on the analyst desk in disgust. Let's take a look at the early game decision making. Remember when Wonder played Pyke last time, he lost early, and it was skirmishes mid that allowed G2 to come back and defeat SK Telecom.
And the Jarvan could definitely do an impersonation of the Elise that was played on that point to keep the Pyke on a short leash. I want to zoom in on one decision, and that's Faker playing LeBlanc in Game 5 of an MSI tournament. Remember, all the way back to the first MSI, it was the strategy to take down Faker's LeBlanc with Pawns Morgana that led to SKT losing that final. He wants to have a happy memory of a Game 5 LeBlanc because if this game goes the way of G2, that's definitely going to haunt him for a long time.
Super quick stats for you. LeBlanc, as you mentioned, very well proficient on the champion. He's undefeated in 2019, 5 games played, 5 wins to his name. The last time Perkz played Syndra was against the Afrika Freaks at Worlds last year.
Wait, what role was he in again?
There was some beautiful irony to that, and now he's running the Electrocute Syndra bot lane with Mickey's Galley.
And I love that you mentioned that quick shot because that has to be my next big point. Perkz and Caps were considered 2 of the best mid laners in Europe last year. Now, in this final game, both are playing mid lane champions against SKT. Is 2 mid laners enough to take down Faker?
Small point about the level 1 fake leash by Mickey and Perkz onto their blue. Have not spotted out anything though. Clid has not been spotted by the Riverwalk.
All right, Flag and Drag's available. Double flashes as well. Only level 1 for both Perkz and for Mickey. Here comes Clid. That's a very good flash advantage, SK Telecom.
Job done. That's exactly what he wants to do. Doesn't want Syndra to have the lane presence that she does in mid or bot lane. Same choice in the duo lane. Remember, the all-in from Galio and Syndra's a lot of CC from level 2, 3 onwards. Lane control to Varus Braum, scary thought.
Yeah, I think Clid, as you rightly said, Papa Smithy, is more than happy with how that trade played out. He can now walk away feeling satisfied that his bot lane has priority. And notice how they've split the map up right now. It is SKT that control the bottom half of the map, and there is the risk of a potential dive towards this bot side with no flash on a Syndra and only running the teleport. It becomes a very easy opportunity for SKT to play around.
Oh, very difficult with the taunt and scatter the weak stun. So execution is important for SK Telecom, but if there was a team that you believe could pull off that execution, this would be the squad. Blue buff was stolen there by Clid as Jankos will clear out the scuttle on top. And it's kind of got a vertical jungle feel about it. As you can see, the top lane, Wonder pushing into Khan.
So we still have to keep our eyes on Clid, but we also want to draw attention to the Pyke in the top lane. Notice that at these early levels, he's not actually struggling. He's managed to get to level 3 very safely. He knows that his jungler's on the top side, so he has the potential to play a little bit more aggressively. And the one thing that we learned from when the last time these two teams played was what Pyke is exceptional at is actually setting up for ganks. The amount of crowd control that he provides, and combined with the damage from the Rek'Sai, means that if Khan makes that slight overstep or if he misuses his abilities, he is primed and ready to get sunk to the deep depths.
And while you think of Kennen as a burst champion as the game goes on, as that's actually in the mid lane.
Oh, Flag and Drag under the tower, but the W from Caps might be enough. The Claw of Doom keeps Caps away from it, but that was so insanely close.
Lid's flash is down, so some side lanes can relieve pressure. Coming back to the Kennen though, it's an auto-attack champion in lane similar to the Jay, so the moment you get under turret, yes, Kennen will be threatening Klepto procs and turret plates, but backing away, getting back your health from that passive and coming back in should allow the Pyke to weather the storm early.
Now, if you're a G2 fan, you're quite excited by the fact that Clid has attempted 2 ganks and not converted it into any kills yet. But those big summoner spells are down, so you have to keep your eyes on where this jungler is and where he looks to play. Because remember, I'll keep saying it, this guy is, in my opinion, the best Jarvan in the world, and when he has an ability to look for a play say, he will not hesitate.
And if you are just joining the broadcast, Clid has obliterated G2 Esports multiple times this series. His early game impact has been game-changing. Also, the team that has been on the blue side has generated several thousand gold lead by 15 minutes and gone on to win the game. So it's going to be up to G2 to break that trend if they want to win the series. And technically, odds are stacked in SKT's favor. Much like this top wave stacked towards Wonder, he's just going to farm it out as Khan recalls.
That is an electrocute Jarvan. He goes Warrior every time we've seen him in recent memory. Consider that if Pyke hits level 11, level 16, it should be a very squishy lineup. So the sort of mid-game team fights like we saw last time we saw Pyke in this matchup could potentially be very effective.
Even game so far. CS is equal. Teleport's pretty much being traded equally despite a very different look of team composition. Neither team's got that advantage yet.
Now, notice that Wonder has not gone back to base yet, which means that Khan wasn't forced to teleport. He wants to try and grab that Tiamat on his first base so that he has the additional wave clear. And the reason why the wave clear is so important is because Pyke as a champion loves to get mobility boots. And the moment he's got them, if he can go into lane, push the wave, and then disappear, everyone on the side of SKT has to be like, okay, there's a guy with a spear running around looking to execute as many people as possible.
And I do have a fear from that statement because SKT are a team that learn. When you show them something new, is your best chance at beating them with it. Once they've had a chance to digest it, much like the Borg, they assimilate the information, bring it into their own understanding, and get better. So they've lost to this Pyke before. I want to see how they're warding, and their decision-making changes this time around.
The recent example will be the Tlia Pantheon that Griffin tried twice in the LCK final. First time, it almost got over the line. The second time, it looked laughable. So SKT's adaptations here will be clear for everyone to see.
Now, Clid is one of the players that we've been tracking in this early game a lot. Currently level 4, has looked for a lot of ganks both around bot and in mid. Meanwhile, Jankos has been steadily farming away and has now hit level 5 as Wonder looks for his first roam. Caps now level 6.
All right, Bone Skewer, maybe. It can obviously synergize so effectively with all of the CC sitting on the side of G2 Esports. Teleport, I can see, was used by Perks into the bottom lane. Wonder obviously going to use that mobility to potentially help out. He was going top, now come back down. Faker gets knocked up from the Unburrow, but look at the teleports here from SK Telecom. Khan is going to be helping out. Caps is going low. Unburrow once again. Clid is the first target. Death from the low. That's going to be first, but the latest of the series. Everybody's in the jungle. Caps goes down. It's a 1-for-1. Now Mata's in trouble. Somebody heal. Will buy time. Slicing Maelstrom is flashed away from defensively. G2 Esports won't find a Bone Skewer. They won't find the follow-up CC. It's a 1-for-1.
Let's pack up and leave the lanes at 7 minutes. 5v5s. Why not? It goes 1-for-1. No reset on Wonder's ultimate. Did not actually get the execution. Didn't share the gold. Potential for it, but I don't believe it did.
Best international meta as a viewer ever. Oh, it's 7 minutes in, 10 people at the red button.
It certainly is, Quickshot. You already commented on the stat, and we see it once again. Latest first blood of the series, and it goes in the hands of Wonder's Pyke. You're right, he didn't find the execution. The point of the ultimate was to just get that additional damage down so they could find that initial kill onto Clid. Faker gets knocked up, and at this point you think he's going to get locked down, but they know that Mata and Teddy are on their way. Teddy gets chunked out by Perks, who's looking to try and find that kill. No level 6 means he can't execute him. Meanwhile, the 3v2 is going up towards the river, but this is when Khan joins the fray.
Khan was so frustrated. Deep teleport for where he thought the fight would be fought. Instead, because so many people were caught in transition, no value out of slicing Maelstrom, even though it was a true handshaken 5v5.
I also missed the scat of the week from Perks. None of those orbs managing to find a target, so that means nobody else dies. Even gold game. Pretty much even CS. It's plus 10 in favor of Faker over Caps. And crucially, Perks has got access to that unleashed power. Jankos senses it as well. The stun comes out. Here's Clid. 3v3 in the bottom lane. Vision is denied on both sides. Mickey goes forward. Chain of Corruption starts to spread. Jankos is inside, but Mickey's the first one that's in trouble. Now Clid is being turned around. Caps is coming in. Frozen Tombs available in a few seconds. Unleashed Power plus Void Rush. That gives one to the LEC representative. Mata gets caught in the winds of war, and Europe get 2.
G2 Esports find successful kills towards the bot side of the map. Both junglers showed up. Both junglers were looking for an opportunity as all of the summoner spells were down. But it is G2 that end up coming out on top. Now, Faker is looking for an answer towards the top side.
He's going hunting. Wonder's got a flash available to him out of vision, so the regen is so powerful on that champion. Faker's just going to wait in the wings. You can sense, you can feel that Wonder knows it's happening. G2 with the first advantage.
But you can feel also that G2 are more adept in this playstyle. This is never seen in the LCK. This level of aggression, 5v5 fights over no discernible objective at 7 minutes. But SKT are playing G2's game. Play it at your own peril.
Wonder on this Pyke is also exceptionally difficult to gank. He has the boots of mobility now. That roaming potential is very prevalent on this champion, and because of the amount of camouflage and mobility tools that he has, it's going to be difficult for Faker to lock him down. So he now returns to mid, Caps is the target.
All right, Caps manages to escape. Very good use of that glacial path. Double W from Faker. The chains are about to pop. Caps, very, very controlled, did not either self-cast or target SK Telecom, but big trade in favor of Faker.
And you're seeing the potential that Faker has on this champion. Even though G2 sit at a 1,000 gold lead, you're just looking at this mid lane. You're just looking at this veteran of a talent and his ability to play this champion.
That double distortion had a bit of venom behind it, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was, he was definitely leaving him with something to pick up, able to go back, teleport back in, so no harm, no foul, but it is another tool for playmaking down.
Cleared the playmaker for SK Telecom 0-2-1. The inverse, Yankos 1-0-2. Warrior chant already, Warrior enchant already completed, and he's stealing away the Raptor camp. This is a very positive sign for G2 Esports. The only death they've conceded was on Caps in that brawl inside the jungle. And with the priority mid and bottom, G2 are going to unlock this Cloud Drain.
And SKT will be forced to answer a question that was posed by a lot of analysts. Analysts asking, in fact, of can SKT win if it's not about Clid in the early game? Because right now, Clid is pretty significantly behind, going a Warrior enchant build, so he'll be squishy. He'll be taken down by a lot of the burst damage. Lot to like about G2's position, and they take the first Drake of the game.
Oh, here's Wonder. Faker's got flash available. He's rooted in place, caught by Lissandra. Ultimate, and he's killed from below. Pushing the wave as well. The roaming pirate picks up a kill onto Faker. Mata does get caught by the stun, but no further follow.
And this is something we're going to be seeing a lot from Wonder. He doesn't care about the 1v1 matchup. He only cares about the roams. He wants to create chaos. And while Faker came hunting for him, Wonder wanted to return the favor. X marks the spot. They find the kill. G2 now sit with a 2,000 gold lead.
And I think the jungle matchup going like this, where Clid is second to a lot of his engagements, means that mid-prio, that's been there kind of the whole best of 5 for SKT is gone. And that means that plays like this can happen. They can come from both directions, and there's no Jarvan to bail Faker out.
There's too much crowd control. Faker not running the cleanse against Lissandra means that the gank setup is so prevalent. And Wonder, he utilized his W to get through the Scuttle Crab, so there was no vision on him as he made his way down towards the mid lane. Good setup from the side of G2. Now they're looking for more skirmishes.
All right, waiting for the channel on that Bone Skewer. Cannot thread the needle through the minion line. Yankos will clear out the vision as Wonder continues to apply pressure in this top lane. And this is a fantastic start for G2 Esports, but do not forget how crazy that previous game was. SK Telecom, and specifically Faker, found multiple ways to get back into the game through some crazy outplays.
I think they're going to get first set up around the Rift Herald, but it was spotted earlier than expected by G2. Let's see what their response is, as it's down to about 6,500 health.
Not enough members yet. Perks is going to be content pushing those turret plates in the bottom lane. Rift Herald conceded here by G2 Esports, as it's just before 14 minutes. It is nearly a 3,000 gold lead, and Tower First Blood bonus will go to Perks. But obviously the Rift Herald counter push will help out SKT.
We'll get solo gold onto the Varus, you would imagine. Could follow it in, but I don't think it's worth at this point. It's kind of going to be a Cataclysm and a Prayer, not much more to respond as this more damage-centric Jarvan build. Mid lane.
All right, Faker gets caught up by the Bone Skewer. Insta-cast by Cap. 1, 2 dunks for Wonder. He's 4-0. It is at the cost of Caps' life, but Khan's able to escape Scatter the Weak and the Bone Skewer. That was by such a close margin. The tower is still alive. alive though. Here comes Khan, slicing Maelstrom available. Unleash power from Perks. He's in trouble, going low. Playing Mickey using the ultimate to jump down. Wonder's unstoppable. 5-0 on the Pike. G2 Esports are up 4,000 gold, and they may not be done sieging the towers.
SKT are doing what they can to find advantages elsewhere on the map, but G2 are just saying, unfortunately, you either fight us or you die. And in either situation, it is G2 who are coming out on top. They don't care about losing these objectives. They don't care about losing these towers. All they care about is finding those executions and killing SKT.
They got a 5-kill Pike after this replay roll is done, sharing gold as well. Wombo combo that Faker knows only too well multiple times this game. Khan tries to walk down the lane and join, doesn't make much happen. Hood is smart, he actually clears out the wave, and that's why Perks almost died largely to turret aggro. But it's too little, too late, and now the gold lead extends to 4,500 for G2.
And this is a situation where SKT, they're now going through the pages of the playbook, and they're saying, what options do we have? What are our answers? How do we come back? They do have a decent pick competition. If they can find targets out of position, then that is their opportunity to come back. But unfortunately for them, G2 never seem to be alone. There always seem to be 2 or 3 members primed and ready to answer any potential play.
I'm sure if you asked SKT right now, they put their faith in 5v5s, but there may never be one. And speaking of lack of 5v5s, here's a skirmish.
All right, good sidestep by Faker. Mickey's going to take this blast cone over the wall. Decides not to, in fact. If Wonder had hit that Q, you have to feel something would have happened. He's got the Ghost Blade as well as Tiamat and Moby Boots, and he's got a level advantage over Faker. Now Clids, his recall just finished. Charge up the Q, finds the tag. I was waiting for Wonder to go in, but he chose not to.
Yeah, he's not going to overcommit against Faker. He's still Faker still has the W and ultimate to get him out to safety, so Wonder chooses not to commit. Instead, he's going fishing. He's looking for whoever he can find, and Perks is the target.
All right, Perks still has flash available to him. Throws out the ultimate. That's the hourglass used by Khan. Chain of Corruption catches one. That's a kill into Yankos already. Advantage SKT. LCK are turning this one around. Despite the 5,000 gold deficit, they've got enough now to turn the pressure back onto G2 Esports.
G2 couldn't actually get in the fight and actually have Wonder play a role, and Caps might actually be caught in transition.
All right, let's find out what he can do. Caps is going to use the claw to get to safety. Still gets rooted in place by Faker's chains. He's sitting on the flash as well. Can self-cost the ultimate if needed to buy some time. Wonder now can hop over the wall and get a multi-man stun. Decides against it, but SKT, they didn't overchase.
But this is SKT finding the picks that they need. G2 got a little too overzealous, and SKT were very quick to punish. Loved the flanking teleport coming out from Faker to cut off the escape route of 2 of the G2 members, allowing them to find some kills, potentially find some shutdowns, and work their way back into this game.
The picks are nice, they slow down the game, but remember, if Wonder's involved, the picks are getting double duty, and they're not actually moving the map state very much. They still don't control their own red side jungle. They just have implied control of their blue side jungle. So right now, it's just some answering gold, and even then, G2 grows stronger.
As you rightly said, Papa Smithy, G2 are looking very good right now. You can see they're nearing completion on their second items, and Wonder is so terrifying at this point, especially when the map comes dark. The observers have an opportunity to just toggle the SKT vision. We'll be able to see what they're working with right now. You see Wonder right now, but look at how much of the map that you don't see him. And even then, if you don't have control wards, you're not going to spot him out. He is constantly looking for picks, and he is looking to skewer any SKT member that walks in his path.
Unbelievable start to this game. 4,000 gold up. G2 Esports, the last time this happened, they were on the red side against RNG at Worlds last year, and G2 were able to win that series. The expectations, the anticipation, and plays like this, that's what's allowing SKT back into the game.
See 3 people way over the wall, but the decisive engage to kill Rek'Sai means that Wonder is only a watcher during this particular fight. They can chase 4v1, 3v1 onto further picks, and no value from Wonder. He needs someone else to start, and he's the cleaner.
Yeah, and I mean, SKT have proven already in Game 4 that if you give them just an inch, they will take a mile. They're not a team that you can just assume will just concede areas of the map. They've proven multiple times that they will fight you. They will not give up this game, and Faker wants to return to that final stage, so he will do everything in his power to turn this game around.
And all of a sudden, Faker is in a little bit of trouble. Unleash power from Perks. He's almost back to his solo killing ways onto Faker. Prey Seeker from Yankos actually goes the other direction, trying to spot out the clones. A lot of members of SKT coming around. And again, there is just some beautiful irony in Perks on Syndra, almost solo killing Faker. It is a matchup that we saw in the finals in 2017, G2 and Europe on the precipice of making history. Not only eliminating SKT, but making an NA versus EU MSI final. The weight of that still hasn't quite sunk in.
But we've also already talked about it, Quickshot, where SKT has been one of the main blockers for Europe internationally for many years. Fnatic, Misfits, G2 in the past. For them to finally overcome one of their long-standing blockers would be a huge achievement for not only G2, but for Europe as a region.
All right, let's take a look at this. Bone Skewer comes out, Cap steps forward. Hourglass is already used, but it feels like this should just be it. Not yet. Good flash from Khan, that keeps him alive. Buys enough time for Cleared and Marta to arrive in support. And Wonder's just dancing on the edge of safety. Look at the vision littered in the jungle. G2 Esports can't even play around Baron because it hasn't spawned yet.
And that's actually the point I wanted to get to, is SKT can only reinforce Kennen because Baron hasn't spawned yet. They can afford to send multiple members bot side and not just have the Baron rush down. So important to look towards the timer. The Baron spawns. Wait to see what it means.
You'll notice now that Khan has been slowly and steadily farming off in the side lane. He's actually managed to build a CS advantage and is matching Wonder in levels. He's still very strong on this Kennen, and even though there's an 800 gold deficit, it definitely doesn't feel like that. The biggest disparities are coming between the bot and mid lane, and the jungle in particular, between the two teams.
And one of the things that I can't get out of my head is when a skirmish style of game takes place, SK Telecom do not perform well. When I think of the games they've struggled in, it's these kind of scrappier types of games where split-second decision-making is required that has kept SKT back.
They just want to make the game predictable. That's why they have to back so frequently to buy control wards to make Wonder conspicuous. Because if that first kill comes in, they can ravage this team, G2. They can ravage through the fairly low health bars. The only person who can actually walk up is Khan, and that's only when his Zhonya's is available. Kind of using it off cooldown. It's going to be a very long map in the bot lane. Caps takes out the bot lane in a turn.
Now Wonder returns to the top side. He's going to catch that wave as Faker has just pushed it out. And this is an opportunity for SKT to actually look for a pick. Look at how much control they have around the river. Jankos not going to gamble with the face check. So SKT now grouping up in mid. Could they look for a potential play onto G2?
Let's take a look. 6,000 gold is the advantage for G2. A couple of thrift store items after the Ghost Blade for Wonder. He's close to 2, maybe 3 items. Luden's Echo and Proto Belt for Caps is matched by Luden's Echo, but there's an entire Proto Belt difference between mid laners. Faker's gonna need some additional time, but Teddy on the 2 items is terrifying right now.
Teddy is online, and if you notice, look at the enemy team, it's all burst build, right? They have a burst team that wants to press R on the Sandra, the Syndra, and blow one person up. Varus needs time. Can SKT buy that time for Ted?
Wow, look at Caps. He's coming in from outside of vision. Bone Skew's already caught Mata. He's going to buy time. Mickey gets a 3-man taunt. Caps is waiting for the ultimate for that. Khan throws down the Maelstrom and uses the Hourglass. That's a shutdown on Wonder. He can't do more, but it's a trade. Top laner for top laner. Another fantastic taunt from Mickey. 3 more die in favor of G2. Mata is running for his life, and G2 turn to burn more objectives.
4 members on the SKT squad die after taking down Wonder. They thought that was it. They thought they could turn it around, but the damage from Caps and Perks was still there. Jankos with the beautiful flash knockup to set up the rest of the team to find the execution. SKT falter, G2 extend the lead.
Europe, your once vilified G2 Esports is on the verge of taking down SKT thanks to plays like this.
And Khan, if you watch, Mickey starts it off perfect taunt bash. Khan plays this perfectly. Notice he gets the stasis up and ults beforehand to try to control. We're on the Infernal.
We are indeed. It's actually picked up by Faker. Jankos is buying some time. Wonder manages to get the Bone Skewer. Jankos is buying some time, but at what cost? Khan is now stuck inside the pit. Mickey gets once again another good taunt, but the Dragon was picked up by SKT. Caps completes the teleport, is running for his life, takes the Glacial Path out. G2 may consider a re-engage because Teddy's not here yet. The Skewer catches Mata. Where's the Ghost Water dive? Not waiting for it yet. Waiting to see if the, Phantom Undertow rather, if Wonder wanted to go over the wall, decided against it, but that's a good, confident reply from SKT.
SKT demonstrate their resilience in this game. They want to turn this one around, and that fight on the Dragon was just a really good punish onto Jankos. He tried to clear that out by himself, and SKT were in a better position to punish.
But why is the question you might ask. Remember, it's Teddy.
Oh, the stun doesn't land. If that had landed, maybe Wonder had gone in.
The game state might surprise you. Why didn't G2 go to Baron after they got 4 kills? Remember, they don't have a ranged AD carry. Their Baron taking speed is going to be much more on the slower ebb. That's what allowed SKT to stay in a game state where they die 4 times at 22 minutes and don't sacrifice Baron.
This is a composition from G2 that doesn't need the Baron to win as long as they've got this gold lead and they can keep getting kills. But a great play from SKT there.
Yeah, and so honestly, SKT just reacted much faster than G2 did. You notice that Khan noticed the Dragon was being started, the ward was already there so that Faker could teleport in, and G2 were like, whoa, we weren't expecting this. They then used 2 teleports and ended up getting nothing off the back of it. So overall, this is a great play from SKT, and it will alleviate a lot of the map pressure that G2 look to push forward.
Man, Mata just keeps getting caught by these taunts. Bone Skewer goes up, but that's a big miss from Wonder. Khan's found the damage on the back end, though. Slicing Maelstrom hasn't got any kills. Jankos is buying some time, but at what cost? That's a great scout of the week, but it's SK Telecom that are winning the fight. They turn their attention to Mickey. He goes golden for a few seconds. Wonder's done nothing. He's been watching from the sidelines. He finally gets a kill, but he doesn't get the reset. Now they're trying to turn it around. That's 2 for Wonder. He turns it back. Clint escapes with his life. All of a sudden, Caps has left alone Teddy. Look at that auto attack. Rat-a-tat-tat, and G2 goes splat.
From 7,000 gold down, they win a team fight. They actually keep Teddy alive, and the flank from Khan was what had started all off.
SKT once again over and over demonstrate how strong they are as a team. Here we see Mata absorbing so much of the damage, and note how Faker dives onto the backline, but it is Khan with this beautiful flank to earn an early Zhonya's out from Perks. They take out Rek'Sai, and notice that Lissandra still isn't even in the fight.
This is turning into a greatest hits of G2 Esports and SKT. Historically, team fights from 10,000 gold behind. These plays with the Realm Warp and the ability to play 3 lanes, it's insane.
And imagine if Caps was here at the beginning of this fight, how differently this could have been. And it was just that awareness from SKT to recognize this is a great opportunity for us. We have to do it. And the core carries of Teddy and Faker showed up and win the team fight for SKT.
We're bouncing up and down 2 days in a row. MSI semifinals are delivering in a way we could never have imagined.
25 kills in 26 minutes. Teddy is now 3-1-4. He's got more of Malmortius as well as that Blade of the Rune King and Rage Blade. He shredded G2 Esports. And this 5,000 gold lead, it means nothing as these fights are playing out. If you are a European fan at home, you better bring all of your friends and family because this will be an explosive end. G2 have not positioned to play around Baron, but SKT are responding to the aggressive lane push.
And the players you have to keep your eyes on are Wonder and Faker, because these 2 are the assassins of the squad. And if either one of them gets caught at the very beginning of the fight, then the fight is pretty much determined, because their damage is so important in being able to eliminate the likes of Teddy, the likes of Perks, that without them, both these compositions will not have the damage needed.
And it's strange this late in the game, but it feels like both teams have a conditional factor to win a team fight. For the side of G2, it's to get the burst on one and have Wonder clean up that first kill. For SKT, it's find a way to stop Teddy just being zoned by all the threats. There's so many of them on G2.
Yeah, there really are. Faker was caught out there by Caps' ultimate. Well, maybe that's a bit of a stretch from a phrase, but now with 3 members diving, he's going to be forced to flash away. Chilling Smite caused that one. Tower number 6 secured in favor of G2. Only inhibitor towers remaining 27 minutes into the game.
But how can G2 get a Baron? Their comp does so many things, but killing Baron is much more conditional for them. Feels like Khan has spent the whole game on the flank at this point.
Yeah.
Looking for a flash ultimate. That flash about 2 minutes or so away from cooldown. Double Void Staff of being complete. In G2, there's no one on SKT that can absorb the R from Lissandra, the R from Syndra, and not be assassinated by the death from below.
There's no QSS yet completed on the side of SKT. There's no cleanse. Oh, the cleanse actually is sitting on top of Teddy, so that's all right. G2 will have priority around the Ocean Drake, and Also, just look at the amount of wars that they've invested towards the top side of the map. While gaining control of these tier 2 towers, they completely littered the enemy jungle with all this red side vision.
All right, Mickey's now going to be in a little bit of trouble. Forced to flash defensively. Of G2's gold lead, most of it's on Cap. He's gone in. Marta's caught out. Teddy's been able to flash for now. Caps uses the self-cast on the ulti, and Khan, he managed to get the slicing nails from off. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but Wonder's still alive. That's a 3-man stun from Perks. The Bone Skewer sets another up. They've traded top for jungle. Clit is down. Yankus goes up, but he can't take down Faker. So far, it's a 2-for-2. Wonder's running for his life. He can't find the stun. 2-for-3 at the end of the fight in favor of SKT.
And it's SKT that are continuously coming out on top of these fights. Wonder now has just spotted Mata.
All right, he has indeed, but look at the stun. That's just massive. Teddy gets the shutdown goal. 6, 1, and 5. The gold lead truly doesn't mean a thing. And SK Telecom, they might be able to burn Baron.
Oh, the pings are on Baron, but they don't have a lot of health bars to do it. Faker's gonna have to tank it up here. TP up on Caps in 10 seconds. This is not gonna be an easy take. Mata denies the blast plant, and here we go.
We're actually doing it right now. It looks like Caps is going nowhere near the pings. Oh, here comes the teleport from Caps. They need to go and contest this.
All right, this is a challenge on both sides, though. Khan has managed to make it to the river. Caps has thrown down a ward. He's got vision. The claw will tag Mata. Mickey's going to be in range as well. There's no flash available, and he may need to Justice Punch over the wall. Baron has been interrupted. Teddy is trying to step forward. The taunt is going to come out. Caps is trying to find the kill. Mata's in trouble. Faker's low, but they've already got one onto Mata. Where is Teddy? Follow his HP bar. Khan flashes up the wall. Teddy's dead. Yankos is in the pit. G2 Esports have been gifted and donated a Baron from SKT. That's a dunk from Wonder. Death from below for the double, for the ace, for the Baron and the base.
G2 obliterate SKT. Look at all the death timers. They're looking to stamp their authority onto the SK Telecom dynasty and make their way to the final.
Baron empowered minions are pushing into the base. The gap be damned. Champions can fall, gods can bleed. Where were you when the West rose up to conquer champions? G2 Esports eliminates SK Telecom. North America face Europe at the MSI Finals.
Faker once again has to stare into his own despair. It's a well-deserved victory for G2, and they did it their way. The final game going for their confidence picks. To be damned that SKT had time to prep for it. They roll it back, they win on red side in a series defined by blue side victories. NA versus EU. I never thought I'd live to see that as an international finals clash.
And the deciding game in both series, they play the NA special against IG, they play the G2 special against SK Telecom. And for the first time in our international history, Europe versus North America at the MSI Finals.
Oh, what a way to do it. There was so much debate around these two teams. There was so much controversy. So many believed that SKT were the second best team in the tournament. G2 could potentially rival them. And in the group stages, it looked like that SKT only continued to get better. And if we're being honest, this was one of the most competitive best of fives that I have ever seen. And it was just so close. That game 4